What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, the Soul Proponent. Today I want to talk about peace on earth. And this is something that doesn't always seem that important. It always seems to be other priorities. But peace on earth is very important. And if we slow down enough to be aware, we can see that there's more peace than there is turmoil on earth. But for some reason or other, we're so concentrated, we're so fixated, we're so attached to finding the conflict, finding what's wrong. We miss the larger picture. We miss the stillness and calmness of what's around us here at this moment. We miss the fact that the universe is already accomplished. And that is sufficient in itself because there's nothing left to do. But if we're aware and conscious, we can see that our minds are always flittering about, always thinking, always churning. And that's not a problem in itself. But to find peace, we have to not go along with that churning, with that turning, with that always thinking that's continuous. We have to loosen our fixations, stop being so attached and enamored and obsessed with the mind and its thinking processes and trying to do something. This is a difficult task because, again, we think there's something more important usually. We always have these ideas of what we think would be good. We want to arrange our situations, our lives, our circumstances, where it'll bring us this idea of our head, this utopia, this idea in our head that we think will bring us peace. But by doing that, we're actually going away from the peace that's already inherent in reality. So we think what's more important is these ideas that we have in our heads, the churning, and we think the mind and reason and logic is the most important thing to go after, to appease, to satisfy. But by doing that, we forfeit the fact that reality here, right now, in this exact precise moment, without lifting a finger, is where the value that we feel is missing. That's where the value is. So instead of trying to accomplish something through the mind, we miss the fact that reality, the value of reality exactly as it is, right here and now, that there's nothing left to do. This is the peace that we're seeking. It's right here, right now, without having to lift a finger. This is often not talked about. It's not understood, and to actually experience this in reality is different than talking about it because it's an experiential understanding. It's not just a concept in our heads that we're trying to chase after. It's not like a dangling carrot because the mind believes, oh, once I accomplish this, once I accomplish that, once I get this goal, once this circumstances arranged according to how I think would be good, then things will be okay. Then I'll get the peace I need. But it's in reverse. And the reason it's in reverse is because we don't know where value lies. We think our value lies in accomplishments and doing something. But the peace we need is within us. And the peace, if we say, let there be peace on earth, we have to understand that it has to begin with us. It can't begin anywhere else. So going on an agenda or going on a campaign to make things better in the world, there's nothing wrong with that. See, people think they get it the wrong way. They get the wrong idea of thinking that we shouldn't do anything to make the world better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the value that we're seeking by making the world better is already here. It's within inside ourselves without having to do anything, without lifting a finger. Now, again, we have to experience this for ourselves. It's not just something to talk about. It's easy to just, oh, in theory, yeah. But what about in practice? So we have to actually practice and live this and understand it fully and see why this is the truth. We have to see through all the falsehoods that we're trying to, but the ego identity, this personality, keeps coming up with ideas in its head. It's churning one thing after another, trying to find this sense of peace, but it can't do it. The way to find that peace that we're looking for and the value that we're seeking is by undoing the glue, stop going along with the identity and its need to accomplish the sense of value. We need to loosen our attachments and our fixations of this identity of who we think we are. This is an undoing, it's an unlearning, it's a revealing, a process of elimination. It's not a matter of doing anything, but it's a matter of stopping doing anything and then stopping the need to have needs, loosening our attachment to attachment itself. It's a very tricky thing because we often, again, we're so pulled by the intensity of our desire to accomplish and to find value. Because in order to find the peace that we need, we have to see how deeply we're fixated on avoiding the sense of deficiency that we would feel if we were to stop our interactivity of the mind. And that's where it gets scary. That's where people don't want to deal with that. They don't want to see that. They don't want to make this a lifestyle. They want to just, once or twice it's okay, but when times are tough, and this is the last thing they want to think about. They're thinking about trying to find some sort of way to avoid that emptiness, that vulnerability, that feeling of deficiency that would result if we were to stop thinking and the mind were to stop its churning. So it's difficult to find peace that way. And, we can see for ourselves, the harder we try to find peace, the way we've usually been going about it, trying to think our way through it, trying to reach an ideal, trying to get to a utopia, we can see that the harder we try, the further we get away from the peace. It might seem like temporarily, okay, yeah, I am getting some peace from whatever goal I accomplished. Now, that won't last, though. Because there's always another goal around the corner, because what we feel it wasn't good enough. And the reason it doesn't feel good enough is because it's not the true version of the feeling of being good enough that we're looking for, the feeling of value. The true value is there without lifting a finger. But we have to actually experience this for ourselves. And there's a lot of suffering a lot of times because people, they don't know any better. They're doing the best they can with what they know. Everyone does what they think is best. But peace and rest, the peace and rest that we need, that we want, that we desire for such a long time, can only happen by seeing the falseness of the values that the ego identity is trying to accomplish. So that's my message about peace. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, John Dominique, the Soul Proponent.